market to buy a trawler, and it can be very frustrating. And one of the things that helped me is, along the way is, years ago, about probably 3 years ago, I bought a dinghy. I found it on Facebook ads, actually, and it was incredible deals, like a $1,200 dinghy for like $300. I brought it home, blew it up, put it in my garage, and it just reminded me every day of why I'm out here and why I'm fighting. But why I'm mentioning this at all is because I'm in the market for a new tender dinghy, and I want an aluminum bottom lightweight for my 15 horse Yamaha engine. And so I have a 2019 dinghy on Southern Estate that I purchased in Delaware City. It's all registered, everything's legal on it. And I want to give it away to one of you guys, especially you guys that are so frustrated you just want to puke. And even if you have to set it in your garage for a while you're in the process of this whole nightmare, we'll call it, of buying a trawler or finding that 40-year-old trawler or 30-year-old trawler or 20-year-old trawler, whatever it is, and you want this dinghy, just leave a comment down below and I'll put your name in the raffle. Thank you. Wait, I want to do a quick touch-up video today on the buying a trawler series here, and the reason is because while this is fresh in my mind, because I received this email probably a couple weeks back actually, and a guy shared his story, and we're just going to call him Bob for all intentional purposes. So anyway, the story starts out, Bob is bored one weekend, and he finds the boat listed with the broker, and it's a Mainship, and it's the 40-footer, and it's at $19.99. Anyway, he goes out, he looks at the boat, goes to the broker, and then he leaves the boat, goes back to work in a couple weeks. Broker calls him back and says, "Hey, what did you think of that Mainship you went and looked at?" And he goes, "Yeah, I like it." And he goes, "Would you entertain, do you want to buy it, or would you entertain making an offer on it?" And he goes, "Someday I would." And he goes, "What if the price was right? Would you make an offer?" And he goes, "Yeah, I would make an offer today if the price was right." And he goes, what would that sound like?" And he goes, Bob says $75,000. And the broker says, "Then let me write it up and let's see what the owner says." So they write the deal up, and Bob now is committed. But he's still got outs, because he can call, you still have your surveyor, you're out of water, everything. So he's still got a long ways to go before this boat's closed. And he's like everybody else. He's about that 2 years out from retirement. But if you want to get a trawler and you want to start getting it ready, you need to, and you're going to live aboard it or go do the loop, you really do need, you should be 2 to 3 years out when you're looking. So anyway, long story short, Bob, the guy says, "Yeah, $75,000. Bob says, "Yeah, I would entertain that offer." So he says, "Let me call." They got a surveyor out there. The surveyor found mechanical issues with one of the engines, one of the main engines, which are Volvos, and they're expensive to work on. So then the surveyor comes back. He comes back with that information. The broker comes back and says, "Okay, well, the surveyor came back and this is what's wrong with it." Anyway, all the typical stuff, all the electronics are old. It needs to be, all the hoses need to be replaced down below. And one of the main engines, there is a problem with one of the main engines. And I'm not going to go into all the details, but the engine probably has to be pulled and work done to it. So anyway, he gets all this information, and he goes, "Yes." He goes, "Are you still interested?" The broker asks Bob, "Are you still interested in the boat?" And Bob says, "Yes, I am. But in the contract, I want it written up that all these repairs will be completed by the owner." And so then about a week goes by, and the broker calls him back, and he says, "Well, this is what we came up with." And Bob goes, "What's that?" And he goes, "What about if he doesn't do any of the work and he sells you the boat for $50,000? And Bob says, and he said, "Would you consider it then?" And Bob says, "Yes, I'll take the boat for $50,000, knowing that the boat's $125,000 and he has room now to do a bunch of work on it that needs to be done. Long story short, that is, he paid $50,000 for the boat. He did have to have the boat pulled out of the water. The engine did have to come out. By the time all those repairs were done and it was back in the water, was another $20,000. So now he's in the boat for $70,000, and then he stuck another $5,000 in it. So to this day, right now, he has a perfectly good trawler, $125,000 trawler now, with good engines in it, good electronics on it, And he did all that for under $75,000. So in today's market, it can be done, and it can be done through a broker. It's just you got to have two parties that are willing and are there to make that happen. And that is a true story. It happened within the last 6 months. That deal closed, and Bob was able to get that boat up and running. So I just wanted to share that story with you because I thought it was cool that if you're frustrated and you want to go look at a boat, you need to go look at the boat. You need to make a commitment. I don't care if it's with a broker or a private individual. You have to spend the time, and you have to go look at the have to, look at it and make up your mind what you want to do with each situation as it comes up. Because if you walk in there, it has hydraulic steering. We've talked about that. It has good fuel tanks in it. It has, you have a good platform to start with, and you can pick it up at a reasonable price. You just never know where that seller's head's at until you start making offers or start talking. And the best way to do that is to go just go look at the boat. Don't even have to say anything. Just walk in the boat. The broker will call you back at some point and say, hey, what did you think of that boat? And then you can say, well, this is what I thought. And then start the conversation from there. And the broker may say, well, that's never going to happen. Well, okay, thank you. Have a nice day. And that's going to happen more times than not, but you're going to get that one time where they're going to say, well, let's see what we can do. Anyway, Paul Bates here. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it.